Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peeps that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to welcome you to a terrific Tuesday, y'all. I'm so excited because I get to actually sit in this comfortable position with my first guest, Chelsea Richardson, phenomenal teacher and poet who is here to talk about re-releasing her book, All Water is Perfect. Nope. She just said it to me, but that's okay. I'll let her tell you all about it. But I'm excited that she's here joining me today. And I get to also spend some time later on in the show with Big O, y'all, the CEO of Converge Media. It's been a minute since he sat here on the new chairs with me for the Day with Trae. So I'm excited that he'll be joining me later on in the show to talk more about the amazing and uplifting work Converge Media is continuing to do. But of course, it is the top of the show, y'all. So it's a perfect time to tag and share the stream right here. Go ahead and participate with us and help us grow. Share the stream with folks who you feel can benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on the Day with Trae. If you can't watch our TV show, we still have you covered, y'all, because you can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network in the Day with Trae. You'll find me on whichever platform is your favorite. There's like 200 of them, y'all. So go ahead and search whichever one is your favorite and you'll find us there. Well, I'm excited because this is the first time I get to chill with Miss Chelsea. Up next, Chelsea Richardson is in the building. We're going to be talking about her journey as a poet, how she's moved that into teaching, and of course, the re-release of her book. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
It's good to be with you. I'm doing great today, and I'm so glad you get to join me. I mean, I got to start off with this. I mean, almost everywhere that I hear poetry is happening, it's almost synonymous with you and your work. And that's got to be a tribute to the amazing effort that you've poured into it. Just tell us about some of those beginnings and what got you started as a poet.
Well, I mean, I started writing poetry really young. My mom was an English teacher, and so writing and literature and those things were always really important in my life. Like I remember my mom saying things like, you don't ever put anything on top of a book. Like you don't put, I don't know, a loaf of bread on top of a book, or books are sacred. And so I grew up with that mentality, but also my grandmother was a really great storyteller, and I knew who James Baldwin was when I was really young, before I even understood what kind of prolific artist and writer he was. And so I just started exploring art and exploring my writing and learning about Maya Angelou and Emily Dickinson. And I later decided, because people would always tell me in high school, you should write, you should be a writer, because I would write and share, you know? Mm-hmm. I would carry a book around with me wherever I went and just write in it. And I really felt kind of instructed by, to be completely honest, in the early years, I felt inspired by like a godly or spiritual, you know, guidance. That was just what drove me to write, and I felt supported by that. Mm. And then I decided to go to UW and write and learn, I guess, the craft. And as a spoken word artist, because I was also on the spoken word scene at the time, performing at slams and competing with some of the greatest poets that ever came out of Seattle, and really learning how to be on stage and be an artist and be true to my writing. I then just started compiling my works, and then over time finally decided to publish.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always these pillars or these very specific like pulls to something. So I love hearing that kind of spiritual connection and feeling the need to do your own works. But it's also, I always think of poetry as such a personal thing, right? And so tell us about how you decided to start really sharing out the work with folks, and how maybe, where you drive your poems from.
So at a very young age, because my grandmother was a storyteller and a piano player, she played the piano at the age of 3. Her dad would actually wake her up. He would come home after a night of drinking and wake her up and ask her to play the piano. Wow. So I grew up listening to her perform and tell stories. And so, of course, I imitated that. As a child, when you get up with your cousins or whatever, and you stand by the piano and you just made up a play in 10 minutes or whatever. And then your family is like, oh, great job. I think that's where I started to feel like a pull towards being in front of people and being able to just explore that, I guess, quote unquote, entertainer side of myself. And then I think what happened was I recognized that spoken word was a thing, probably in my early 20s, and realized like, oh, I can share my art, my writing on stage in front of people. And it was really scary then, but now it's kind of second nature. And so that's just...
I love it. Yeah. But I feel like too, there's like this poetry community. I mean, you were talking about being a part of slams, and the circle starts to get smaller and smaller. Up here in the Pacific Northwest. Tell us about the ways that you've been building connections in that community, and like how. What I love is like artists supporting other artists and like what that looks like. Just tell us a bit about how that's worked for you.
So I see myself as the kind of artist who is always trying to support other artists because I love art. So I try my best. Say, for example, like last night I went to Rhyme and Reason at the Collective, which is a show done by the Collective, but also Jay Reichel, who is a poet, activist, who now lives in Atlanta, but lived here for a while. And they did this show. I've been a part of this show before and been able to perform, but I've been deciding more recently to come and be a listener. And really, instead of just watching, like really listen intently, because I feel like when I'm supporting artists and I'm paying attention to what they're doing, I'm also growing as an artist. And for me, it's like I really want to always be developing the craft and getting better and better at it. And part of that is like looking and watching and seeing what other people are doing. But I also do an open mic and writing session at the Made Space every third Thursday. It's called Smoking Word. I do that with Ebo Barton, and we actually smoke weed and do poetry. I can't really smoke during that show. The times that I have, I'm not in a good space because I feel like I need to be super clear because I'm the host. But people enjoy themselves, and it's really an opportunity to come and develop yourself as an artist and find, literally in that made space, find space to be creative and let go, and then perform whatever it is you want to perform. You can sing, you can rap. It's not, like specific to poetry, even though we do a writing prompt. The goal is to give people space to share.
Wow. I mean, this is really important too. I mean, in terms of, expanding that community and those connections and then finding ways to collaborate with one another with events like that is so key. How do you utilize all that you have gained as a writer, a poet, spoken word artist, being out here in community into your teaching? Tell us more about your path of teaching.
Yeah. Well, the two kind of have always been synonymous because my mom is also a teacher. And so she used to say to me that I would be a teacher, and I was like, no, I absolutely will not. But I would line my friends up, and basically it would be a classroom, and some of the older kids too, at like 5, I don't know what I was telling them to do, but I remember specifically wanting to be there to instruct, but that was a childish way of understanding teaching. But now I really understand that teaching is more about breaking things apart and being a guide and knowing the right tools and understanding how people learn. And so there's a lot of needing to know yourself really well and understand psychology. And so when I first told myself I am going to be a performer and I'm going to perform at these and I'm going to participate in slams, I remember I would walk from, I don't know, maybe I'd be on Broadway or something. I would walk from whatever street to whatever street, and I would probably looked crazy, but I would be reciting poetry out loud because I would be I'm gonna remember these poems or whatever. And then I would also go and teach at Leschi, teach preschool kids poetry. And then I would, because of Monique Franklin, who owns Inspired Child, and she's an amazing artist who does everything. She really mentored me and helped me to learn how to participate in art in the park. So then I was teaching poetry in the park at Judkins and then Lake Ridge. And so there are a lot of kids that I just know because I taught you poetry over the summer. I taught you what a metaphor was or onomatopoeia. And so when I'm doing that, when I'm teaching, I'm hearing, just like when I'm listening at an open mic, I'm hearing these beautiful words come out of the mouths of young people. And I'm learning how to be a better poet because they are teaching me oh, I didn't even think you could do that with a word or a phrase. Or I never even, thought that maybe a certain rhythm might feel good to hear coming out of somebody's mouth or something, So they've always worked really well together. Now I'm teaching high school students and I have been for a couple years. And it's not so much poetry that I'm teaching them. It's just, like I said earlier, breaking things apart and teaching writing, but teaching more how a thesis can guide a paper or, that kind of thing. Yeah. And it's all really spiritual, I will say. I'm not so much as religious as I used to be, but I really have to be centered and I really have to guide from a place of understanding and empathy, and that all involves my spirit, right? And recognizing your spirit sitting here with you, and being connected to people. So
that's intense too in such a great way because it's also rare, right? In comedic science there's a concept of the God in me connects and sees the God in you, right? And it's so real. And I'm so grateful for that. Our interactions have been felt like that for me on my end. So I love hearing you say that.
Yeah.
Because it's not the same with everyone.
Right.
Everyone doesn't actually give of themselves like that, or maybe open themselves up to that kind of interaction.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
When we talk about all the things you do, now you're re-releasing your book. You got to help me and make sure the title is right. Because I was as soon as it started coming out of my mouth, I said, that is not right, Trae. But tell us why you're re-releasing it and what does the book consist of? Give us some more details about your book.
I decided to re-release my book because I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself to do something new. And I realized that that is not the kind of artist that I want to be. My book is still new to people who've never seen it or heard of it, you know, who don't know it exists. It's called All Water Has Perfect Memory. And that is a quote from Toni Morrison, who basically explains the role of a writer and how the writer is like the Mississippi, because the Mississippi, it runs through, oh man, now I'm fumbling on it, but basically, to not mess up her words, the writer remembers, and the writer's job is to remember all of the things that happened and to take us there and to not really miss too many steps about our experience right now. So if I was to leave and write, I would have to remember the way that window looks behind you and the light coming in, or maybe like cracks in the wall, and how the hairs on my arms are standing up, and because I have goosebumps because I'm excited, right? And so if I can't really be present and remember those things, then I can't take you there. And so it's all about like being honest. And in this particular book, in All Water Has Perfect Memory, I really explore our experiences with the climate crisis and with my personal life, my trauma and our collective trauma. And my goal with that book was first and foremost to share my art, but secondly, to, I guess, cement my role in this world as a true artist, because for some reason it felt like if I didn't have a book as a writer, then I wasn't really doing what I was supposed to do. So I really needed that. Like, I would be lying if I didn't say I needed that piece. But I guess I just felt guided to share with people the experience of my art and hopefully bring them in, help them understand like who I am and who they are through that work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know, your title is spot on. I mean, we are majority in our bodies, majority is water. And it's so interesting to understand and begin to see so many studies being done on water and that positive attribute that you can pour into water, or the negative attributes that folks pour into water and how it affects the water. And I have this term, I mean, like, I was like, it doesn't vibe with the waters of my body. And people would be like, ooh, you know, right?
I love that.
And I don't know where that came from, right? I just started saying it. Maybe it was attributed to someone, I don't know. But like, it made sense to me, because I'm like, if it doesn't, I don't do, right? And so there's something really guiding about that. So I love the title.
Thank you.
And thank you for all of your work. Of course, if people want to connect with you, if they're like, yo, I have this amazing event, you got to be there, you got to drop some of your gems, look right there in that camera, closest to me right here, and let them know how they connect.
So you can find me at Self Love Vigilante on Instagram. That is probably the best way to communicate with me. Or via email, which is also on my website at chelsearichardson.org. I am always open to talking to people. I want to know about you. I want to know about what you're doing. I want to be in spaces where people are creating art. So come find me.
Chelsey, what a serious pleasure today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Come back anytime. New works, events, let me know.
Please, I will come back.
Absolutely. Oh, y'all, what a true honor to be able to sit here with her and get so comfy. I'm actually going to continue my comfy seating. Big O probably won't be crossing his legs, so that's perfectly fine. But up next, we got Big O, Omari Salisbury, in the building. We're going to be talking all things Converge Media. Y'all don't want to miss this. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Africatown Plaza is our latest affordable housing development project. It's 126 units of affordable housing over community commercial space.
It's the first time in my career, and I've been doing this for 10 years, that I was able to design for people who look like me.
Africatown Plaza is a beacon of hope.
Africatown Plaza is a love letter to the community.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now is Big O, Omari Salisbury in the building. What's up, O?
Trayana, what's happening?
It's so good to have you on the Day with Trae again, my friend. It's been a minute.
Yeah, reunited, right?
Always. It feels so good. Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about what Converge Media has been up to. There's always so many stories to cover. Tell us more.
Well, I mean, first of all, let's start right here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that people recognize this unique space here in the Day with Trae, a unique space not only here in Seattle, but across this part of America where, you know, we're Black voices every single day, Monday through Friday. Who's giving the space, grace, opportunity, amazing video, fantastic photos, and an article, you know, when they come up. This is real deal. What's happening here today with Trae is transformational, and once again, Converge Media is leading the nation in uplifting people in our community, and it's a cross section. And that's the best thing about this show is that, I mean, we get everybody from Chelsea Richardson, who was just here, to people in city government and state government, to community leaders, to artists, to, you know, you have your Menopause Monday, you have your fitness. The whole point is, though, is that a space like this consistent, and that's the thing is, we need to talk about the commitment and the consistency of the Day with Trae and even the Morning Update show before that is consistent. That our biggest, best, brightest, and also our young and upcoming and aspiring, like Miles, who was on last week, they find a home here on the Day with Trae. And, you know, we're really proud of that. And that's why we continue to push this show with all the resources that we have. We continue to want to invest in it and grow the viewership, not only here in Seattle, but across the region. And who knows, maybe one day nationally is on the horizon.
Yeah, you know, I get to publicly thank you because I know how much, you know, effort we both put in, but I just appreciate the space to be able to bring folks here at Converge. And it's always so beautiful how people leave being like, man, that felt like this was home.
Yeah, because when people come to the Black Media Matters studio, it is home. Yeah. You know, we put a big emphasis here on how people feel in this studio, and not to discredit the work of Eric Calligraphy, because he puts a lot of work on how people look in the studio. But for me, it's how people feel. And we've seen it from locals to performing artists who perform all over the world. And they come here to this Black Media Matters studio and they say, you know what? I've never felt at home in a media space until right here. And that's what we want to create. I mean, there's something powerful to be said when our focus is just on Black media mattering. You see what I'm saying? Now we're here. Of course, everybody knows we're not anti-nobody. But you know what, man? We have to stay focused on what we're about and what we want to uplift and what we want to project. I say all the time, the mainstream media, they have a monopoly on bad news. So at Converge Media, we put paint where it ain't. We're all about the uplift. You know what I'm saying? Our investment is in Black joy. Our investment is in Black uplift. Our investment is amplifying amazing people and stories from our community. And our studio here is representative of that, our staff, our hospitality, and everything about it. So this is home. You know, and that's why people love coming here. Have you ever noticed it's very rare that anybody ever says no? Sometimes their schedule, it might take a few months to get them in here. Ain't nobody ever said no, they not coming.
Yep, it's so true. And it's really something that I get to experience. And it's something that's also felt in community. I get to actually say to you from Dr. Mims, who I just spent quite some time with this past weekend. She said, you got to tell that young man I'm giving him a standing ovation. She's been able to really dive in recently to the work of Converge, and right here, the work of the Day with Trae. And of course, she gave me my flowers, but she told me, she said, you make sure that that young man knows how proud I am as an elder in this community of the work that he's doing.
Well, Trae Holiday, when me and you teamed up, actually this month, holy cow.
Oh, wow.
This month, in a few days from now, it'll be the 4-year anniversary of when we launched the Morning Update show. A lot of the don't knows and the boo-boos out there think that we just popped up during the protest. Don't even realize Converge is 8 years old. The Morning Update show was well on air before the protest of 2020. But, when we launched the Morning Update show, was a few things we said was that, you know what? Them first episodes, I said, it might only be 2 people watching. I said, I know my mama and my daddy gonna be watching, but I said, but we gonna act like 200,000 are, and that's how we work. And the other thing is, we said we wanted to make our neighborhood proud. We wanted to make our big mamas and aunties and uncles, including like Dr. Mims, proud of our work. And that's something that's guided Converge from day one. How can we continue to make the Central District, the South End, the Black population here in Seattle, King County and beyond proud of what we do?
Yeah, well, it is definitely shining through, and I love being able to get that feedback. But there is so much going on. Converge is here. There is all of the social media posts, the blogs, the articles, the photos, the video, the in studio, out of studio. I mean, people are like, y'all are how many 30,000 working for y'all? Because they can't believe the amount of work we continue to put out.
That's because we committed to the mission.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We didn't come this far just to come this far. We're here to finish the mission. And this mission is just getting started. And we talked about the Day with Trae. When you talk about Back to Basics, you know what I'm saying, over there on Fox 13, that is the blackest broadcast TV show, not only in this part of America, but it's hard to find when you go across the country where you have a show like Back to Basics with 7 produced segments, great stories from across, not only here in Seattle, but she's over in Spokane, out in Portland, in Boise, and in between, get ready to go over to Yakima, uplifting Black stories all across our region. And seeing there on Fox 13 and now nationally in the Fox Local app, right? And so then you talk about our tremendous filmmakers with the film, Sankofa Theater, Inscape finale. It just came out that we partnered actually with Fox again, did 1 hour. It was 1 hour commercial free. Because we told them people at Fox, you know what? There ain't no right place to put no commercial in this story. So we gonna have to pull out, hey, listen, you're gonna have to pull out all the commercials on it, man, and they rolled with that. But imagine 1 hour commercial free to uplift that story of Tame Wakoma and Elijah Lewis and the Sankofa Theater. But beyond that, on the horizon, some of the things we're really excited about is the continued partnership with the Black Heritage Society of Washington State. You know what I'm saying? Highly represented here with their work, them and Mohai here on this wall. Of course, Baseball Beyond Borders, where we're proud again this year to partner with Baseball Beyond Borders, Major League Baseball, for the West Regional Finals. That's happening here. I'm a big baseball fan. We're also partners with the Iconic Sonics and the Iconic Sonics podcast, Bring Back Our Sonics. Had the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Sonics himself, Nate McMillan, and people can catch that podcast today. It's out across all of our platforms. But our biggest thing is, I know you mentioned the photos, the blog posts, all those kind of things. Converge's most important work is the work that most people won't see. And that's our work of supporting young people. And that's our work of always inviting these young folk here to the studio, or going and talking to them, or being out there and talking to college students, or showing up for our elders. It's when the camera's not on, it's when our most important work is done. People only see it, the camera's just a small part, and people see that, and that's great. But we want to continue to put paint where it ain't. We want to continue to be able to reinforce our community in all kinds of different ways.
Well, it's so beautiful to have you here to share some of that stuff that, folks really don't get to see and don't get to witness. And honestly, that is another layer of why community understands that we continue to be a part of community. It wasn't just about sharing these stories as an outsider. We were already in community, and we continue to uplift the brilliance we were experiencing, which is a true characteristic of why I think so many in our communities really feel like Converge is theirs, and it's because of that intentionality. So thank you for always putting that at the forefront of this work.
No, thank you. And I want to encourage people out there is that, we're reclaiming a lot of our work off of social media. And this is the reason why. It's like, this is for us, by us. And why I say that, I want to encourage people to start going to our website more, whereweconverge.com. And you'll see more and more that the majority of our work is going to be housed there. We're going to put stuff out on social, we'll put teasers and everything else, but y'all need to come and be with us on our website. You know what I'm saying? We ain't create this platform for everybody. We created it for us. So you join us on our website, whereweconverge.com.
Thank you so much. Oh, now we're uplifting events, all kind. They need to explore the website. Everything is there. Thank you so much for all your work, for your vision, for bringing us all into it. It's definitely been a phenomenal part of my life, and I just am so grateful and honored to be here.
Trae, you're very welcome, and thank you for creating space and opportunity for these Black voices Monday through Friday. There's nowhere else in this region, in this part of America, where people can sit here with this amount of time. Any other show, hey, you got 3 minutes, tell us what it's all about.
Yeah.
What you're doing is amazing.
Thank you so much. Y'all, this is what I'm talking about. Inspiration abounds. I'm so fired up right now. I'm gonna wrap it all up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Africatown Plaza is our latest affordable housing development project. It's 126 units of affordable housing over community commercial space.
It's the first time in my career, and I've been doing this for 10 years, that I was able to design for people who look like me.
Africatown Plaza is a beacon of hope.
Africatown Plaza is a love letter to the community.
Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You seem like the barging down. Got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up. Break you in and break you out. In the end, we gon' make a child. Then we gon' hit the show. Part 2, we don't need no pause. You miss me, we gon' get tipsy. Don't need a power shot.
Copy my steal. Face the fact that copy my steal.
A new COVID vaccine is here. It's designed to help prevent the COVID variants that we're seeing spreading now. Even if you got COVID before or got COVID booster shots and the vaccine, it's important to get this new vaccine. It's safe to get the COVID shot and the flu shot at the same time. Get both to prevent serious illness this fall and winter. Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Oh, I'm buzzing today. Huge shout out to my guest, Chelsea Richardson, for bringing her intentionality and her giving of love, her God seeing the God in me. That is something that is special, y'all. And so make sure you go to chelsearichardson.org, check out all of her work and the re-release of her book. Y'all are definitely going to be pleased by it. And of course, big, huge shout out to Big O, Omari Omari Salisbury, for joining me today. You know, it's beautiful because I'm a part of Converge, but when I get to hear it through his voice and his purview, I'm like, yes, I get fired up all over again because he is so right. Right here, we are doing phenomenal work, and we're so grateful to be a part of community and help uplift community, creating impact media that inspires you all. So you know I'm inspired. I want y'all to be inspired because you too can find your way to be a part of the solution. Make sure you go over there to whereweconverge.com. Start paying attention to all of these phenomenal works that are there being housed there, because this is really a reflection of you. Thank you so much for watching, y'all. And for me, until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Peace.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.